that doesn't need a battery or that doesn't need gasoline.
Yes.
If I have that bulldozer that was tearing down the barn and it doesn't have any gasoline, it's just going to sit there. As strong as it is, as much damage as it's capable of doing, if it doesn't have a power source, it is useless.
Amen.
That's why there are so many of us, and this is something Pastor Green kind of touched on a while back. It's hard for people who naturally know what they have inside of them sometimes to operate under the power of the Spirit because they think they can do stuff on their own. They think they can operate under their own power. And you just cannot accomplish anything for God. You can't glorify God operating under your own power. And so you can be in ministry and you're looking at different people and you're saying, I'm smarter than that person. I'm better looking than that person. I have more degrees than that person. I know the word better than that person. I dress better than that person. I shout better than that person. But the thing is, they're not operating under their own power. The reason why their gift is being flourished is because they've understood the principle of allowing the Holy Spirit to do the work. And allowing the Holy Spirit to be that source that allows what is in them to be made manifest and to be seen in them. That's probably one of the main things that we have issues with. It's one of the things I've had issues with in my life. I've actually probably been in all four of these positions, not knowing I need a purpose, seeing it, running away from it, seeing it and be frustrated in it. And I think that as I grow in my life, I'm getting to that point where I'm starting to walk in that purpose. But the thing about it is we have to be aware that anything that was created, and I'll just make one last analogy. It's Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison he invented the light bulb, among other things.
Yes, sir.
But he saw a need for something. He saw that there was darkness, and there needs to be a remedy for this darkness. So he created the light bulb, and he put everything in it in order to work, in order to provide light in the darkness. Now, the thing about the light bulb is that when it's plugged up to a source, it has no choice but to provide light. It cannot be dark if it's plugged up to the source. Now, there's a lot of different lights. There's halogen lights, LED lights, strobe lights, black lights, fluorescent lights. It doesn't matter what your wattage is. It doesn't matter how big you are as far as a light. If you're not plugged into a source, there's just going to be darkness. If you're not plugged into a source, there's no way you're going to be able to provide light. And when you're a light bulb, the light is not for yourself. It's for everyone else to see that light. The light of the source that gives you the power to shine in the first place. That's right. So we just have to understand that everything that's within us is there from God, but it's not God. He designed us that way on purpose. That way He can get the glory. He designed us that way so that when we're plugged into the source, people won't see us. They will see the light that is within us, that's being provided to us by the Holy Spirit, which is the source for all of our gifts. It's the source of all of our purposes. We have to understand that to allow our purpose to flourish, we have to be connected to the source. And as I close, Gary, if you want to play the music, Gary. What starts to happen in our life is we understand that we have purpose, but what happens is we start to not use that purpose for what we're supposed to use it for. And see, as Christians, we're different. The world are round pegs. We're square pegs. What we try to do sometimes, we try to make ourselves fit into into that round hole. And see, when you're square, you have corners. And if you try to stuff yourself, you're going to cut the corners off. You're going to remove pieces of yourself that was strategically and specifically placed there by God. They're going to slowly whittle themselves away as you start to try to put yourself in a position that you have no business putting yourself in. And so what God is trying to say tonight, that I saw you when you tried to put yourself in that round hole. I was there. I watched you do it. I saw you struggle. I saw you suffer because you knew the conflict that you were going through, knowing what you were made for, but you were out busy doing something else. I saw you whittling yourself away. I saw you when pieces that I had put there were being cut. But I was there. And I picked up those pieces that you whittled away. I kept them because I knew you would come back. And if you allow me, if you seek me, if you come back to me, I will mold those pieces back to you. So you can start to walk in the purpose in which God has called you to walk in. Everyone stand to your feet. I think some of us tonight are in those categories that I've talked about.